Today we're diving into a recap of a movie from 2017. You already know the title. But before we get started, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. The film opens with Logan, also known as the Wolverine, waking up in the backseat of a limo, groggy and disoriented. It's late at night, and he stumbles out to find a Mexican gang attempting to steal the limo's wheels. Logan calmly tries to step in, but one of the gang members fires a shotgun at him. Logan rises to reveal his claws, although one of them doesn't fully extend, an indication that even activating his powers now brings him pain. He engages the gang in a violent battle, taking several hits but ultimately managing to severely injure and kill most of them before the rest flee. It's the year 2029, and even though Logan appears to be around 50 years old, he has lived for over 170 years. His healing abilities are weakening, and the adamantium in his body is gradually poisoning him, leading to physical pain and bouts of coughing up blood. Mutants are nearly wiped out, with no new births in the last 25 years. Logan now resides in El Paso, Texas, working as a limo driver under his real name, James Howlett. He keeps an adamantium bullet with him, often contemplating whether to use it to end his own life. While attending a funeral, Logan is approached by a woman named Gabriela Lopez, who appears to recognize him and asks for his assistance. Logan refuses, and she drives away with a young girl in the back seat who stares at him as they leave. The following day, Donald Pierce enters Logan's limo. He makes it clear that he knows about Logan's recent skirmish with the gang and mentions Logan's responsibilities as Charles Xavier's caretaker across the border. Pierce says he's searching for something Gabriela took and hands Logan a card identifying himself as the head of security at Alkali Transigen, a biotech firm. Frustrated, Logan drives away. He heads to a deserted facility in Mexico where he and Caliban, an albino mutant with psychic tracking powers, are taking care of Charles Xavier. Charles suffers from a degenerative brain disorder, and when he has seizures, they unleash powerful psionic blasts that can paralyze those nearby. Logan administers a special medication to help control Charles's seizures, but the medicine also leaves Charles confused and quiet. Logan and Caliban argue about their dwindling supply of meds, and Caliban expresses concern about Logan's declining health, which Logan refuses to address. Logan storms off. Soon after, Logan receives a call to pick up passengers at a motel. There, he finds Gabriela again, this time accompanied by her 11-year-old daughter, Laura. Gabriela offers Logan $50,000 to escort them to a location called Eden in North Dakota on their way to Canada. She gives Logan $20,000 up front along with coordinates. Though reluctant, Logan agrees and returns home to get ready, telling Charles that their plan to buy a boat may finally be possible. When Logan returns to the motel, he finds Gabriela murdered and Laura gone. He picks up Gabriela's phone and discovers a half-written message urging him to hurry. They've been found. Logan returns home only to discover Laura hiding in the trunk of his limo. Charles is happy to see her and urges Logan to help her, but Logan is apprehensive, knowing they will soon be pursued. Pierce arrives at their hideout, demanding that Laura be handed over. When he refuses to back down, Laura knocks him unconscious by hurling a pipe at his head. Logan tells Caliban to dump Pierce in the desert, but the Reavers, a highly trained mercenary group employed by Transigen, capture Caliban and force him to use his mutant tracking abilities to find Logan and the others.
Inside the plant, two Reavers come to take Laura. She quietly eats cereal at first, but soon, chaos erupts. Gunfire and screams ring out. Laura emerges, tossing a severed head at Pierce's feet before unleashing her own adamantium claws, 2 from each hand and 1 from each foot. She attacks the Reavers with vicious skill, and a stunned Logan joins in. They escape in the limo, taking Charles and Laura with them, while the Reavers keep Caliban and torture him with sunlight to compel him to continue tracking the group. They torture him with sunlight to compel him to continue tracking the group. While on the run, Logan demands to know who Laura is. Charles hints that she's very much like Logan. Searching Gabriela's phone, Logan finds a video explaining Gabriela's work with Transigen's genetic program, but the phone dies before the entire message can be played. They stop at a convenience store to pick up supplies. Laura tries to steal chips and sunglasses and flips the store clerk when he confronts her. Logan intervenes and tells her that behavior isn't acceptable. He grabs a phone charger and a cigar, then leaves the store. That night, after charging the phone, Logan watches the remainder of Gabriella's video. She explains that she was a nurse involved in a genetic experiment run by Dr. Xander Rice aimed at creating mutant children to serve as super soldiers. Using the DNA of deceased mutants, the children, including Laura, were artificially conceived and born from anonymous women. These children, known as X-23, were raised under cruel conditions. The program failed because the children displayed too much emotion and disobeyed orders. In response, Transigen introduced X-24, a clone with no will of his own. The decision was made to eliminate the children. Gabriella helped them escape, directing them toward a place called Eden in North Dakota, a supposed sanctuary where they could live safely in Canada. In her final words, Gabriella confesses she is not Laura's biological mother, but still loves her deeply. She apologizes to Logan for lying about the money and hopes that, as Laura's biological father, he will protect her. The group arrives in Oklahoma City and checks into a hotel. Logan finds Laura reading an X-Men comic book and realizes the coordinates for Eden are taken directly from the comic. Angry, he confronts her, insisting that the mission is nothing more than a fantasy. He tells her the stories she's reading are sugar-coated fiction and that Eden isn't real. Frustrated, Logan leaves them in the room and heads downstairs, only to notice that the Reavers have found them. Suddenly, everyone in the hotel is paralyzed. Charles is experiencing another seizure. Struggling against the effects, Logan rushes back upstairs to find the Reavers already in the room with Laura and Charles. He kills them all and gives Charles a shot to stop the seizure. They escape using a new vehicle. While driving, they hear a news report about the Oklahoma City incident, which is described as eerily similar to a tragedy in Westchester the previous year. Logan shuts off the radio. Later, they're nearly hit by a robotic freight truck and veer off to avoid a pickup with runaway horses. Charles uses his telepathy to calm the horses, and the group meets Will Munson, his wife Catherine, and their son Nate. Logan helps them get the pickup out of the ditch, and the Munsons invite them to dinner, which Charles gladly accepts. After dinner, Catherine offers them a room for the night. Though Logan wants to leave, he agrees to stay for Charles's sake and carries him upstairs. Meanwhile, Will checks the tampered water supply and Logan helps fix it. They're confronted by thugs claiming Will is behind on payments, but Logan scares them off by smashing one of their rifles. Back at the house, Charles rests in bed and senses someone entering. Believing it's Logan, he pleads with him to be patient with Laura and expresses guilt over a seizure a year ago that killed most of the X-Men. As Charles apologizes, he's stabbed in the chest, but it's not Logan. The real Logan rushes in and realizes the attacker is X-24, his emotionless clone. X-24 abducts Laura and murders Nathan and Catherine. Logan finds Charles, who is barely alive. As he holds him, Charles talks about their boat dream one last time before dying. Heartbroken, Logan battles X-24 in a savage fight. Meanwhile, Caliban, still being held by the Reavers, manages to resist and detonates 2 grenades, sacrificing himself and injuring Pierce. Logan is on the verge of defeat until Will intervenes by ramming X-24 with a truck, pinning him against farm machinery. Will shoots X-24 repeatedly before dying from his injuries. Logan escapes with Laura and Charles's body. The next morning, he buries Charles in an unmarked grave with Laura by his side. Overwhelmed, Logan destroys their truck and collapses.
The adamantium is slowly killing you.
Logan refuses treatment and leaves with Laura. She thanks him, and for the first time, she speaks in Spanish. She names her friends from Transigen and insists they must find them at Eden. Logan reluctantly agrees, only to prove Eden doesn't exist. When they reach Eden, Laura reunites with the other children led by Richter. Logan, exhausted, collapses again, and the kids shave his beard as a prank, making him resemble his younger self. Richter gives him a serum that boosts his healing temporarily, but warns against using it all at once. Logan tells Laura his job is done, and that he plans to leave, explaining that everyone he's ever cared for ends up dead. Laura, hurt, says she'll be fine on her own. The following morning, the Reavers launch an attack, pursuing the children. Logan uses the entire dose of the serum and takes down most of the Reavers.
I orchestrated the mutant extinction. I introduced a virus into the food supply.
He kills Rice and moves on to Pierce, but X-24 is released once again. Logan fights his clone as the children overpower Pierce and kill him. As Logan weakens from the fading serum, X-24 impales him on a tree. Laura kills X-24 with the adamantium bullet and cuts Logan down from the tree.
Daddy!
So this is what it feels like.
The children bury Logan and mark his grave with a cross. Laura then tilts the cross sideways, turning it into an X, and the children walk into an uncertain but free future. And that's how the film concludes. Until Deadpool comes along and chops him up with an axe.